Hello, my name's Tuppence. I am about ready for autumn. I love the heat, but I am so over these dry, hot days that we've been having. In fact, I don't even remember the last time we had proper rain. So consequently, everything is kind of brown and the leaves already look like they're turning, but without that gorgeous autumn colour. So I want to inject some colour into a dish, and I'm going to use this leaf mould. I have no idea what this leaf actually is. It looks like it could be a palm or a monstera or something, and I don't even know if they do change colours in autumn. But I'm going to be using some mica powders. I've got these from Arteza. I've got magenta and a moss green. I don't know if that's a little too dark, but I'm going to try it anyway. And two micas from mould. I've got a gold colour and a turquoise. And then I've got this copper colour, that's from Luminart. These are all the colours that remind me of autumn, and they should all blend nicely. I've already gone ahead and mixed up some resin. I'm using JDiction High Gloss. I've got 120 mils in the cup, and I'm just waiting for it to warm up enough so that I can add all of my different colours, and they shouldn't blend too much. So at the moment it's at 30 degrees. I need that to get a little bit warmer. But I can go ahead and add the mica powder into the cups now, and then that'll be ready when the resin is. So I'm using the magenta from Arteza, and because I got a little bit in my mould and I had to clean that off with a tissue and some alcohol, I moved the mould out of the way, that way I wouldn't get any further spots of mica on there. Then I used this, I think it looks like a copper, but they call it bronze. This is from Luminart. I'm also going to use a couple of greens. So this is a turquoise one from mould, and I'm really not sure about this one. It's more of a blue-green than I wanted, but we'll see what it looks like when it mixes with the other colours. And I've got a kind of orange gold, so now I'm going to go for a really bright yellow gold. And then another green as well, so this one is slightly darker. This is the moss green. And I think that's enough colours to throw in one mould. All right, I'm testing the temperature again. It's still a little bit lower than I want. But I'm going to make a start on mixing up the mica powders. So I'm going to add a little bit into each cup first, then I can get that powder mixed in and make sure that all of the lumps are gone before I add some more resin. And I'm going to put about 20 mils roughly in each cup. That should also leave 20 mils of clear resin in the big cup, and I can add that should I need to top it up. Hopefully I won't need it, but I really don't know how much this mould takes. So I'm going to carry on and mix up all of my colours, and then I'm going to leave them to get to a temperature somewhere around 34 centigrade before I can pour them. So I'll be back when they're ready. Okay, I've just tested these. Most of them are at 34, so I'm now ready to put them in the mould. Now, I don't want to squeeze my mould once I've got these in, so I'm spraying it with isopropyl alcohol. That's to help disperse the bubbles. Only if I start squeezing the edges, I'm just going to mix all the colours. So I'm just going to give that a quick massage and make sure I get that alcohol everywhere. And then I'm ready to start. And I'm just going to pour these in. Again, I'm going to start with the magenta, and I want that around the edge. And I've arranged the rest of the colours in the order that I want to pour them in. So I figure that a leaf will probably turn slightly pinker on the outside. You'll get the more orangey copper colours towards the middle, and then green up where the stalk is. So that's kind of what I'm doing with this. I can see some bubbles stuck, so I'm just going to pull this edge back and try and let those bubbles out, but I don't want to poke it too much because I really don't want these colours to mix too much. Okay, so now I'm going to go with the green, and actually this colour has turned out a lot better than I thought it would. This was the bluey green colour that I didn't think was going to be green enough, but it is, as is the darker one. So yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with the colours. Okay, so I'm just going to finish up the rest of the colours in the cup. I think I've got enough of the dark green in there, but I'll use some of these gold colours. I don't want to put any more of the pink in because I really do want that just to remain around the edge. And this is almost filled up, so I am going to just top this up with the rest of the clear and hope that I haven't ruined it, because I can see the mould. Hopefully that'll suck back in again. So I'll be back when this has cured. Actually, I lied and I'm back already. I've got the water ripple butterfly mould from Resin because I've still got some colours in these pots and I want to use them up. Now this doesn't take very much resin, so hopefully I'll have enough. So I'm just going to mix this gold into that bronze, and that should just create a lighter colour. I'll just get that mixed in. And as I say, I don't really need very much for this. So I'm just going to start by pouring that down into the wings. Put a little bit on that side and a little on this side as well. Okay. I might add some more of that in a minute. But I'm just going to give this a quick squeeze and make sure that I get any of the bubbles that might be stuck in the bottom out. This actually is a really good mould for degassing itself. It's just a perfect shape. All right, I'm just going to add the rest of this in. So I need to scrape that out and just dribble that down the side. Okay, and down this side. So I'm thinking that I probably used this butterfly with the leaf. I didn't actually have a plan going into this video, but yeah, I'm going to wing it and just see what happens. So I'm just going to use up the rest of the magenta. Hopefully that'll be enough just to fill this up. Scrape that in. So most of the body is actually going to be pink, and I should have some pink flashes down the wings. Looks like I actually need a little bit more. I don't want to put any green in there. So I am going to be doing another project, so I will quickly mix up a little bit more resin, and then I can put that in the butterfly and I'll use the rest for my other project. So I will be back once these are all cured. All right, it's the next morning and this is now ready to demold, and I don't know about this section. So it doesn't look like the colours have moved very far from where I put them. I did top up that butterfly with a little bit of clear resin, so we'll see how this goes. Now I can see through the middle of this mould, so not all of the colours moved back into the middle after I poured that clear in, but some of the copper has. I do like the pink around the outside and some of that gold, so we'll just have to see how this looks on the front. Almost there. It's not that hard to demold actually. All right, well, it's all right. I quite like it. I don't know that I love it, and I think a lot of that has to do with that copper that I poured in last minute, the copper and the clear. But I love the outside edge, so I'm happy with that. I think the colours really do work well with each other. Yeah, I'm not keen on that middle section. But let me get the butterfly out and see what that looks like. I love everything about this butterfly. I love the mould. It's really soft, very easy to demold, and I really love the shape of this. Into resin moulds are brilliant. I highly recommend them, and I'm really happy with that. I think that looks really sweet. And the colours are going to match, of course, because I used the leftovers. So I think I'll probably place it, I don't know if I want it on the side or there. Yeah, I think I'm going to place it somewhere near that stalk. I want to keep it away from the pink. Let me just turn it around and have a look from this side. Of course, it would be easy to stick the butterfly there, but I definitely think it needs to stay away from that pink area up the end there. It kind of looks balanced like this. Anyway, I'll figure that out in a minute. In the meantime, I do want to add something more to the butterfly. I want to add a little bit more pattern to this, so I'm going to use lots of different rhinestones to do that. Now, some of these are stickers. This one is a ribbon that is on a gel backing. So I've just cut strips off as I want them. And then I'm going to run this along the edge of the butterfly's body. Just tuck that down, and then I can tuck it around the bottom. And then I'm going to do the same with another little strip on the other side. I'm going to line up the bottom first so that they meet in the middle, and then I'll just run that along the edge of the body, and it's the perfect size. All the rest of the rhinestones are going to need glue, so I'm going to use this super glue, And I'm going to put a blob onto some plastic packaging so that I can save my desk, because it will stick to the silicone mat. So I'll just put a blob on there, and then I can pick it up using a microbrush stick and put it on the back of the rhinestones. Now I've already got a rhinestone in my tweezers. I've just got a blob of blue tack, and that's what I'm using to pick them up. I find all of the pickup tools that I've got, none of them actually work. So if anybody can recommend a really good pickup tool that works properly, I'd really appreciate it. So I just want a tiny blob of glue on the gem, and then I just need to hold it in place until it sets. The wavy pattern on the wings doesn't always make that easy, but I'm just going to carry on and keep adding gems on the wings until I'm happy with the way that this looks. So I'm going to put on a little bit of music and you can watch me bling the wings. Okay, here it is. I really love the way that that looks, and I think this is where I want to put it. I can balance it between those two pieces, and I'm going to use some UV bonding resin to stick that down. But before I do that, I need to make this a little bit rougher. It's really smooth, so I'm just taking a nail file and I'm creating what they call a key. I'm roughening up that surface so that that glue has got something to grab onto. Otherwise, it's just going to slide off or break off. It really does not have a grip. So I'm just going to do this edge, and then obviously where it will be sitting on the other side. So this will be covered up. I'm just going to roughen that up. That looks pretty good. Doesn't have to be a lot. And I need to do the butterfly as well because that's pretty smooth. So I've just got to figure out where that is going to actually sit. And it looks like it's almost the bottom and the edges of the wings. So I'm just going to scuff up the bottom and the side of the wings. And this would be something that I would be doing even if I wasn't going to stick the butterfly down, because this edge where the top of the resin settled, that is pretty sharp. So it just needs sanding down anyway. But I'm going to take that a little bit further and just make sure I scuff along the edges of the wings and across that base. As I say, it really doesn't have to be a lot, just something that that glue can get a bit of a grip on. All right, I am almost done. I'm just going to do the edge here as well, just in case it settles down in that crevice a little bit. That's pretty good. So you can see it didn't take long, and it really isn't hard to do. You don't need power tools for that. So now I'm going to get a brush, and I like to put a little bit of glue onto my mat and then pick it up rather than put it directly from the bottle onto the piece of resin. So I'm just going to spread that along this top edge, just a little bit, and also on that stem. I'm going to put it on the butterfly as well, and then hopefully I have got glue in the right place on at least one of those two pieces. So now I'm just going to pop that there and hold that still. A torch comes with the glue, and it is a USB rechargeable torch, which is perfect. And I just need to expose that glue to the light for about 10 seconds on either side, and that should be enough to hold that in place. Then I can shine the torch from underneath and make sure I get all of that glue set. Just please be careful when you are using a torch that you don't shine it anywhere near your eyes. It's really important that you either use UV glasses or just do something to try and shield your eyes, because it bounces back off the resin too. So I've got this upside down now, and I'm just going to add a little bit more of the glue. So I'm going to pop that on either side and just make sure that this is reinforced and has got a little bit of support. So I might as well cover up that bottom as well, and this will just restore a little bit of the shine to those areas that I sanded. And again, I'm going to expose this to the light, and you can see that light bouncing back off the resin. As I say, UV glasses are the best protection, otherwise you could end up with cataracts, which is something that I find that I have now. All right, as soon as I have done this, I am going to pop this underneath my dual-sided lamp, just to make sure that this is thoroughly cured. I cured that UV bonding resin under the lamp for about a minute or so. That is more than enough, but I want to add a little bit more UV resin. So I'm just using the Let's Resin clear hard type to add an extra support. This is going to get handled. It'll be picked up and moved around, so I don't want this butterfly to pop off. I'm going to use the UV torch to set this temporarily so that it doesn't have a chance to run around the front. And then I'll put it underneath my dual-sided lamp and cure it properly, because UV resin does take a little longer to cure than the resin bonding glue. Here it is, it's all finished, and I think I like it for the most part. I'm not keen on that middle section where the copper is, and I really wish I hadn't put that clear in there, but otherwise I am loving the colours and I quite like the way that they have blended. I think the other thing that's throwing me off is that this isn't really the right shape leaf for this kind of colour effect. I wish it had been a maple leaf. But this is going to look great on my table and bring me some autumn colour. And I hope that you like this too. If you do, please give me a thumbs up, comment, share, hype if that's available to you, and consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't. It's free, it will really help me out, and you'll be able to come back and see what I'm going to make next time. Until then, thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye.